January 6th Capitol riot held a surprise hearing Tuesday to make public specific detailed information about what the former president and his aides were doing and saying during the siege. Cassidy Hutchinson was a top assistant to former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. She gave an insider account telling the panel that her boss was aware of the risk of violence happening on the 6th. Meadows has already appeared for multiple interviews behind closed doors, but the hearing focused on what she saw and heard that day.
I went back up to our office and I found Mr. Meadows in his office on the couch. He was scrolling through his phone. I remember leaning against the doorway and saying, I just had an interesting conversation with Rudy. Mark, it sounds like we're going to go to the Capitol. He didn't look up from his phone and said something to the effect of, there's a lot going on, Cass, but I don't know. Things might get real bad on January 6th. Thoughts?
Hutchinson also testified Meadows was briefed by security that many rally-goers were armed with guns and other weapons, but that the then president demanded attendees not be screened for weapons, saying in his words, they're not here to hurt me. Hutchinson later described an angry, defiant Trump grabbing at the steering wheel of the presidential SUV when the Secret Service refused to let him go to the Capitol. Well, that account was quickly disputed by the Secret Service agents present. The January 6th committee's chairman, Mississippi Democrat Betty Thompson, also made news Tuesday, saying that the panel will likely discuss bringing in the top lawyer for the Trump administration, White House counsel Pat Cipollone, for more questions.
He was prominently talked about in the hearing, and we will seriously consider inviting him for a transcribed interview or something like that. But I don't want to get ahead of the committee. We just had the hearing, but I anticipate serious discussion about him.
In the latest flurry of activity across the U.S. following the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade, fights on laws already on the books are playing out differently in lower courts. Roughly half of all states are expected to prohibit or limit abortions following last week's historic ruling, as so-called trigger laws are now in play. There are bans or other restrictions that were either left on the books for generations, tied up by legal challenges, or specifically designed to take effect if Roe v. Wade was abolished.